Now, today's session is going to be mainly about market segmentation and customer development. Now, I like to say it's, for me, from my experience, I like to call it customer segmentation rather than market segmentation, because I want to take things like to in depth. Mainly, market is a bit more of a broader vision, and I want to talk to you about how customers generally, how a business is basically set to be able to succeed, because what defines a business and its success is the number of customers the business has. And for us, for every business that I've managed to launch with my team, we were able to actually define several aspects to be able to get to that customer. You may start with an idea and you think that this idea has customers and everything, but then again, when you go into the market, you figure out that the customer for this idea doesn't exist. It's only you that can utilize this platform. So obviously that's not going to be a successful business. In some cases, no, you actually find some customers, but then you don't understand how to grow them because you haven't set up a proper strategy. That strategy is usually developed in 4 major steps. I call them the 4 major steps to the epiphany, or the 4 steps to approaching a client. And they start with the first 2, customer discovery. So whenever you have any idea, right, any business, whether it's you're selling furniture or you're selling water bottles or whatever the case in that retrospect, you have to understand whether there are customers that exist. Customer discovery is the way forward. You want to understand whether there is somebody that actually is available that might want to be using your platform or your system or your product or your service or whatever it is that you're offering. The goal here is to understand whether there will be this group of people, and then get their feedback as much as possible and understand their problem. When we say customer discovery, it's not just, oh, في أحد بيستخدم, someone's going to use it. It's not that. No, it's like there is someone that wants to use a certain thing. It falls back to, if you recall, the ideation. When you generate an idea, you want to validate that idea. How do you validate it? You start approaching clients and potential clients and customers, understanding their problems and their solutions. So في تعاطف, في compassion, and then from there you're able to actually create, define what it is that you're going to offer as a solution to those clients. And if you, let's say, are in the furniture business, selling specific sets of furniture, and you approach many people. In this case, you approach, let's say, designers, and you talk to those designers, telling them, "Hey, I have this specific set of products that I can sell. Tell me, what is it that you need?" They go like, "Oh, wallah, I'm sick of going to Pinterest to view furniture. I want to have a catalog in my hand that I can go to my clients and visit them as an interior designer and show them the catalog." So you take that feedback in, you discover that there is a customer and discover that there is a need for that customer. So what you can do then, you start validating this. You go, well, what if I actually provided you with these catalogs, and then actually above that provided you with delivery and that sort of stuff? Would you pay me money for it? I'm like, yes, we would love to pay you money for it. That's step 2. You validated it. You got customer validation. So step 1 is you discover, you understand whether the customer exists, whether there is a problem, if there is a problem that you can actually cater your entire solution around, and then you offer it to that customer. And then step 2 would be customer validation. Customer validation is with that same customer, same person, pay you money from his pocket or her pocket and use your system or use your platform or service or product or whatever it is that you're offering. Would they want to buy that catalog as interior designers in reality, or do they just tell you? Because that's the difference between having a survey and actually selling a product. We can always say traction. We went to 200 people, and that's part of your customer discovery. They tell you, yes, we would love to use it, but then when you go and ask them for money, they're not going to give you that money. Here, you're not able to validate that this customer exists. You're not able to validate that you have a customer that will buy your service or your product. So it falls back and you have to reassess. That is why this is a loop: customer discovery and customer validation. Maybe throughout your journeys generally, or your studies, you hear of a product journey. It's either left or right. You don't actually, and if you make mistakes, it's bad, it's wrong. In this case, I can tell you very bluntly, it's okay to make mistakes. It's okay to base a lot of knowledge on customer discovery. I'm going to discover whether there are people that actually want to use this. Yes, fantastic. Then I'm going to move to customer validation. It's not being validated. So I take a step back, go back to customer discovery, reassess everything, talk to another bunch of people, and go for it again, and then try to validate again and try to acquire our first paying customer. When we acquire our first paying customer, understand that they are willing to pay, then we move forward to step number 3. Now, step number 3 is customer creation. Now, what is customer creation? Straight up, it's basically, it's what builds the success of the company. Now you have the paying customers that actually allow you to, that give you the money on a daily basis to be able to use your system, or again, whatever, buy your product in this case. But then you start pumping money into marketing. This is when you create new customers, because you already have an existing set of customers that are using it. These are your loyal customers, your evangelists, the ones that are actually going to continuously talk about your product and promote it for you without you being, being on there and heavily pushing it. You'll be able to actually approach later on customer creation, which is, hey, let's take some money from whatever we've made right now and invest it in marketing smartly. Let's not replicate the examples of major funded businesses, because in the end, you're a small business at home, and you have what, maybe, I don't know, 200 paying clients paying you maybe $10,000 a month, which is generally a good amount of cash. After covering expenses here and there, you make a $2,000 profit. You don't want to go and sign a deal paying $2,000 every month just to do advertising and promotions. You don't want to do that. You want to do general testing. Let's take the testing mentality back into it. You want to discover, you want to validate, and you want to jump in and create. Again, so you replicate that same model in everything that you do. So what you do here in this case, you take a little bit of that $2,000 and spend it a little bit in marketing to understand whether it works. If it works well, pump some more cash, and you'll get more clients coming in, you get more validation, so on and so forth, until you reach to a certain level where now you create a company, you build a company. Now you don't need to do your sales yourself. You can hire your own VPs of sales. You can build an entire organizational structure that they will do everything for you in that retrospect. But again, the two most crucial points are customer discovery and then customer validation. These are the two ones. You start with this and you go through a loop until you are able to validate the business or a customer segment, and then you're able to create more customers and so on and so forth. Things that you need to put into consideration when you are discovering a customer or you're validating a client. Generally, when it comes to segmenting, businesses that come in and go like, oh, we're going to serve, I'm offering a solution, it's going to serve anyone aged 10 to 75. This is a bad target market, completely bad target market. You always have to bring it down, dumb it down to the nearest or closest niche. Figure out, like I said earlier, you're a furniture business. A furniture business would be like, okay, we're targeting people that want to buy furniture aged 20 to 60, that have a new house or are moving into a new apartment or whatever it is. But then you have a wide range here. But then you see a smart furniture or shop owner takes a step back and goes like, okay, I'm targeting interior designers that are looking to build furniture, unique furniture for their clients. So there are B2B aspect. You see the interior designers that are going to be doing the sales and everything. That's why they want a catalog to be able to go to their clients and talk to their clients. So you see the niche here. I didn't target 70 billion or 70 million people from day one. I targeted like 100,000 people, and then from that 100,000, and let me speak to the closest to me geographically, because these are the ones that I know them culturally, and I can prove the concept to it. And then I can understand how to scale and grow. Businesses that start by defining, and I'm going to talk to the entire market. My market size is $150 billion, and I'm going to address it all completely. Targeting a specific niche. When Talabat started, did they target everybody that wants to order food online? Did they target all the restaurants? No, they started at targeting on a specific group of people, youth aged this to this, and then people that are tech savvy that are going to use a website. They're going to start targeting fast food restaurants that have their own delivery. You see how that drills down. Fast food restaurants that have their own delivery. Very, very unique set of customers. Majority of the restaurants at that time didn't have their own delivery at that time when Talabat launched. So then going forward, you want to talk about other businesses. You want to talk about other potential. Let's see, for example, Facebook. When Facebook started, and the best example, the most, one of the biggest ones, they only catered to university students. So it was within a university, a single university, people were communicating and connecting. Then it expanded. It became like a friendship thing between two universities, three universities. Then after proving the concept and validating it by targeting those niche clients, they opened it for a wider array of customers. And now Facebook has a bunch of people aged from literally 16 all the way to God knows how old. But you start by targeting something, a segment, a single customer segment, single unit. Method, a student aged method. There's a business called Unipal. I'm sure you guys have heard of it, right? They're targeting specifically university students that are looking for discounts abroad. Right? Not abroad, but outside of university and restaurants or whatever it is. So this is a massive, tiny, they're massive. It's a huge, like millions of people, but it's one segment, one target segment, market, customer segment, or market segment, whatever you want to call it. And then from there, if they prove the concept and it grows, they're going to start offering Unipal to people beyond the university students, because it's going to work. Similar to the entertainer, they're going to become the entertainer next going forward. Coupons and discounts for everybody rather than just university students. You see, the only way for you to be able to compete in the market with businesses as big as Amazon and Google and I don't know, Sharaf DG, Lulu, and these guys, is for you to focus on small target customers, small segments of the market, addressing their problems, doing it perfectly, and then growing and expanding and offering it to multiple units and multiple people and multiple segments of the market. Things that there, and when it comes to startups, obviously there are four certain pieces or certain different types of startups. Let's say you want to come in initially as into the market as a startup that just enters into an existing market. So you want to do an e-commerce store. You enter into an existing market that's congested, has so many different e-commerce stores, and you're going to have a few $1 million to be able to invest them, because you're going to compete with big players that have a lot of money, that have deep pockets. Or you can be the second form, which is you want to resegment an existing market at a low cost. So you come into an existing market, you want to redefine it by simply offering your service at a lower cost. يعني مثال, you have let's talk about an existing market. Talabat, for example, it's an existing service. They're charging restaurants 25 to 30%, believe it or not, which is a lot of money. Now you come and talk to, you offer something that Talabat offers, exactly what it is, and create an app and portal and launch it, but then you charge restaurants 5%. So you enter an existing market at a low cost. That's your competitive advantage. That's your selling point, because the market has so many different players. They're all charging very significant amounts of money. You charge a smaller amount, and that's your competition. That's the way you enter the market. That's the second one. The third one is you resegment the market as a niche player. So you walk in and you see Talabat catering to restaurants, catering to groceries, as T-Mart catering to, in some cases, pharmacies, in some cases, even multiple categories, and even stationery. In your case, on the other hand, you come in and say, I want to offer a platform where people are able to order, مثلا, as an example, again, don't quote me on this, order only spoons and forks, plastic spoons and forks. That's it. Cutlery. That's the entire portal. I'm not saying it's a good idea, so please don't write it down as if it's the next big idea. I'm just giving an example off of the top of my head, right? So when you target a niche that sits very well with another market, so let's say Talabat, they deliver everything, but then you come in and you only deliver one thing, and you do it very well, and you understand the whole market around it. You understand that it requires a specific set of clients that are looking for this. 23-year-olds mainly living alone that want to order food online and want to have a plastic cutlery that they can throw away, rather than have cutlery that they have to wash on a daily basis. These are our niche clients. So you enter with this niche, and then you do it very well, as I said, and grow and ultimately add multiple layers going forward. This is the third part, right? So the fourth and last one is you create an entirely new market. And you come in with a business that doesn't exist, with an idea that doesn't exist, right? Or let's say the idea exists, but you're so different in providing it that you literally make up a completely new market. Furniture stores are known to be completely offline. For example, عندنا بالبحرين. So you create a furniture store that is completely online. ما في front face. Nobody has to walk into a showroom. Everything is online with VR or AR. You plug in a video, whatever it is that you actually want to watch, the AR, VR goggles, and you see the furniture and how it looks like. And you're like, okay, cool. I think I want that piece of furniture, and it gets delivered to you. You don't walk into any store or anything. So you create a completely new market, which is called the VR furniture space that does not exist. Again, this is all an example that might exist. So these are the four types of, the four types of businesses or startups, let's say, that are formed generally nowadays. They all are surrounding the fact that you have to discover a certain segment of clients or customer base, understand that there is a problem that you can actually solve for them, and then validate it by charging them money for the solution that you're going to offer it. If you don't get it, you go back to customer discovery, do it again, validate it. Once you get paid for it, then it's validated. You go to create the actual, new clients going forward, customer creation, and then you create a company, an entire company. You don't necessarily have to become the company and spend $10 million from day one to establish. You start very small and very tiny, focusing on niches and going forward. The whole surround issue is, I get it. You're passionate about something. You're passionate about gaming, for example. So you know what? I'm going to create a new console. Is there a need for a new console? We have the PS5, we have the Xbox, we have PC gamers. Most of the people are doing PC gaming nowadays rather than all of the other stuff. We have Nintendo coming up with something new. We have, God knows, the number of consoles is ridiculous, and each game has to be spread. It's ridiculous. Why am I doing something without initially discovering if there is a client for it, right? So I get it. The best ideas that jump in generally or you come up with are not ideas that are solving only your pain point. If تذكر نرجع حق ideation, no, you come up with an idea based on a pain that you went through, but then you have to validate it. You have to be compassionate about this idea with other people. Do other people face the same problem? If they do face the same problem, then yes, I've discovered a set of customers that are going to use it, that might actually require a solution. These are a set of customers. Now let me validate. Let me create a solution. Let me ask them if they're going to pay for it or not. If you don't have that as a base in the beginning, then you're just setting yourself to build a company that doesn't have a client base, and you're probably going to flop. Again, 99.9% of the time, you're probably going to flop if you don't have that in the beginning. If you're that lucky 0.01%, then yep. The competitors might not be in your country. In Saudi Arabia, they could be in the US, they could be in Japan. Doesn't matter. A competitor is someone that could eventually, either if it's in your country or they're in your country, you're entering an existing market, so they're there, or they're abroad, they're in Japan. So it's anybody that could possibly put money and jump into your market and immediately compete with you. That's a competitor, right? So in our case as the Looney, we didn't have a competitor that focused on people to broker, to basically sell product and make a cash commission. But there is Amazon, there is Souk, there is Noon, there is all these big names that could possibly just tomorrow, as an indirect competitor, they put some cash, like $1 million. Khalas, let's create a brokerage system that competes directly with the Looney. So e-commerce and brokerage combined, and khalas, we become social commerce. That's an indirect competitor. So unless you've literally designed something that's completely patented and no one on planet Earth has created it besides you, and it's patented, and you have the proof that it's patented, then trust me, you have a competitor. It's a statistical impossibility that there is no one that has thought about what you're trying to do. You're talking about 8 billion people. So no matter how many ideas you come up with, I'm sure somebody has thought about it. It depends on how fast you can patent it and get it out there and implement it. So this comparison as well can benefit you in developing a new business. And if you think about it, you go and you see مثلا Lulu hypermarket and you see what they're doing. It's a fantastic machine generating multi-billions of dollars. But then there is a problem. There is a fault somewhere. And this is where you compare yourself. There is a problem that they aren't able to solve because of their size. because they can't see it. It's small, but it's affecting possibly 20,000 clients, 30,000 clients. So what do you do in this case? You go and you solve that problem, and then you target those 20 to 30,000 clients by promoting to them, marketing to them, addressing them. There, you've developed your own validation journey. You've discovered those 20,000 clients that are having an issue within this existing model of business. And what you do is you just fix that issue and solve it for them. I know of a business called Armada Delivery. They've approached me to support them in growth journey. They're expanding out of Kuwait and Bahrain and Saudi, inshallah. And what they do is a logistics provider, right? They offer on-demand delivery. So they talk to, for example, companies or restaurants and tell them, we have drivers, and anytime you want, you can just come up and sign up with us, and the drivers will come and pick up directly when you place an order on our system automatically. And if it links with your website, it'll happen automatically. Those clients go like, well, we work with Talabat charges us a lot, and we don't have our delivery fleet, and we don't want to work with their delivery fleet because they're going to charge us a lot of money. So they went and asked Talabat, can we integrate with you? Talabat said, la, we'd rather not. We want to make money off of you. No, we don't. You want to do that? They did something extremely smart. They created a Chrome extension that works directly with Talabat. It scraps the data. When a customer places an order, they see the order. It automatically transfers from there to an Armada customer, and the Armada customer will immediately have a Armada driver pick up and deliver. You see what they did? They catered to a specific problem or a fault within an existing model, and they were able to expand with it and grow with it. And now they have almost 2,000 or something drivers, almost, I don't know, so many, like hundreds of restaurants, and they process over 5,000 orders a day in deliveries, which is fantastic. So they start by catering to a specific thing. You can literally take a piece out of an existing or working model, see if it doesn't work, reassess it, cater to the clients that are affected by it, that are facing that problem, and you've got yourself a business. So we base majority, like about 90% of our growth on the customer behavior or feedback that we get. So it's either feedback where customers talk to you and tell you, or it's actual analytics data that based on their user and usership on our platform. So if they use my app, I got a heat map and I see exactly where they click most of the time. It goes so deep to the extent where even you may change or restructure the design of your user interface to be able to enhance the user experience or the user journey. Because you see that a lot of users are clicking mainly on the right side of the screen, while your menu is on the left side of the screen. So this sort of behavioral trend can allow you to determine maybe I should move my menu, which I want them to click on, to the right of the screen, because it's easier for them to click, because 75% of people or 80% or whatever the number are right-handed, while the rest are left-handed. There's a brilliant business that actually offered a service online. I think it's a game. It's part of a gaming company. It's a mobile game. And that's the case. They ask the user initially, are you right-handed or are you left-handed? They ask them. They click right-handed. So then they integrate the entire thing as for a right-handed user. And if they're left-handed, they integrate for a left-handed user. So things like that, these small points here and there, we actually take into consideration as a business. For example, users sell more during the weekend. They refer more products during the weekend. How come? And not any weekend. Specifically, the second weekend of the month, they do 80% more of referrals. But then conversions happen more towards the fourth weekend of the month, or the third or fourth weekend of the month. So here you understand that these guys don't have money. The 80% that are referring products, they don't have money. They're referring, so they want to sell products so you can make some extra cash. But the people that they're referring to also don't have money. So they convert when they have money, which is when they receive the salary. This sort of behavior understanding allows you to be able to promote your product directly to certain segments going forward. This whole Google Analytics setup, you can work with Google Analytics, Facebook Analytics, whatever it is, will help you understand your user journey and your user better. It's not going to be private data. You're not knowing where they live, and you're gonna get access to their bank accounts or sell their data to people. No, it's data that you get to be able to refine your product and then push it forward. In some cases, a business or a vendor approaches us, we want to know how many people looked at our products. Sure, I can show you how many people looked at your products. 6,000 people looked at your product, 200 people bought that product. I can share that data. But then if they go like, hey, can you tell me the names of each and every single one of them that looked at my product and their email addresses and their phone numbers? No, I can't. See, this is the thing. So what we do in this case is we look at every set of data from our user journey on our platforms, or from our user journey when it comes to our product or to our service or whatever it is that we're offering. Take that, refine the business, and make it better and better and better going forward. That's why it's extremely extremely important for you to manage or take a look at behavior of clients. That's why a lot of the bigger businesses now are just major data businesses. Why is Google successful? They're not successful because they're the best search engine and they have an advertising network. No, it's because their system is so smart. Their AI is so smart that it's able to determine what it is that you like because of your constant clicks and constant going through certain content and your consumption of content, and it will retarget specific businesses that are within certain categories and promote them to you. Either it's Google or Facebook or Instagram, whatever it is. They all do that because based on your behavior, based on your clicks. Same thing with TikTok. I remember I have a TikTok channel. I mentioned this before, and I have almost 30,000 followers and it's growing. So that's why it's necessary for us to understand all of this behavior going forward, the behavior of the clients in our business going forward, to be able to reassess, readdress, and give more conversions to our business and grow it even further. So the whole customer segment or validation journey or creation of new customers, this whole journey, the 4 steps that I mentioned, is not something that you do just in the beginning. Otherwise, you'd have Facebook. They did it for 1 university and 6 other universities. We're happy. We have money coming in from 6 universities and we stop. No, they grew. They repeated that journey multiple times and added more products and more layers. I like to refer to business as an hourglass. So how come? Very straight up. You have 67 ideas on top, right? And for you, I want to launch all of them. But each idea has to pass through a bottleneck. And then within that bottleneck is where it spends most of its time, and you refine, you discover where there are customer for it, you validate it, it makes sense, it doesn't make sense, I have a client for it, I'm selling it, it's working, it's successful, and then it falls down and it becomes a successful business running itself on its own, or a product running itself on its own down there. And then you send the idea number 2 down until you reach number 67, and just repeat that process, and you become a big conglomerate or a big organization. This is I think is key for any business to be able to grow and become a huge business going forward. And trust me, when Hamad Fakhru and Sons, Hanif al-Bahrain, when they developed, when they started, when they franchised Philips, for example, it was only Philips. They did it so well, it grew significantly. Then they signed NutriBullet, or whatever the brands or the concepts that they actually plugged in later on, going Moser, all these different brands. Refining what you have and constantly enhancing it, ultimately being able to grow it going forward with it, for sure. Discover the set of customers with a pain point, and then you're able to validate it and sell it to them, specifically those people that have the pain point, and you solve the pain point for them. Initially, it's not going to be that difficult to get your first 10 clients, but then making sure that you address those pain points and giving them out and displaying them out there, which falls under customer creation, which is point number 3. You're going to start promoting. You're going to create a new set of customers for yourself because you've validated it. You've solved the problem of existing customers that you've discovered initially. You're going to start creating it by taking that validation and promoting it and pitching it. Ala marketing, ala direct sales, so digital advertising, cold calling, emails, newsletters, lead generation, companies, whatever it is. Eventually, you'll be able to acquire or onboard customers going forward. Just make sure that while you're doing that, you don't go crazy and spend tens of millions of dollars, because that's not smart. That used to be smart back in the day, and allows businesses to grow. But now the best way for you to do it is to understand what you're spending and being able to limit your customer acquisition cost as much as possible and bring it down as much as possible and make it smart. Instead of spending $50 to acquire a single customer, and it differs from product to product, you spend $5 to acquire a customer, and that customer pays you $15 or $20. So you make money here, right? This is important to know. So the steps are: discover the customers, you create validation. That means you've actually added value to a set of people. Then you go to creation by doing promotion. Your promotion could be online ads, could be sales, could be lead generation companies, could be direct cold calls, could be, just product evangelism and a boost of, using the crowd, so to speak. If you're creating a charity, then you got your business is a charity. What you do is you start raising money to be able to offer the solution to people. So raising that money would fall under what we like to call شنو يا ربي corporate social responsibility. So you start approaching customers with or businesses with corporate social responsibility mandates, and you tell them, listen, I have a website that offers a service for clients, and it's a service that I'm giving it for free. I would love you guys to fund it. And because they have this mandate as a corporate social responsibility, they will fund your business. They will give you some cash. And then you determine, okay, 20% of that cash is for us to manage the business. 80% of that cash is to offer our service for free to those clients. That's usually how the case is with what the case is with funds and charity funds and whatnot going forward. أنا أتكلم عن charity specifically. But if the service that you're providing is actually something that's adding value and you don't think people are going to pay for it, then the only way for you to find out whether they're going to pay for it or not is to start charging for it. Offer it as a premium solution, segment it. You have, for example, if it's a search, you search 3 times for free, the number 4, you have to pay money. Give me $1 for each search. Just to test it. If it doesn't work, just fall back. It's okay. And make sure that when you do that test, you try to segment, a bunch of people on the side. Don't offer it to everybody from day one. Take, for example, 100 users, and I'm sure with technology you can do that. We do that, and focus on those guys and offer or girls or whomever, and offer it to them as paid, and see whether they'd be willing to pay for it or not. If out of those 100 that you talk to, 80 are willing to pay, then it's safe to say that 80% of your entire client base could possibly pay you for the service. Make it live. That's usually how we address this sort of stuff. And that's the thing. Don't be afraid to make mistakes. I mean, you're gonna make mistakes. It's okay. I know that we've been educated all our lives. Oh, if you make a mistake, تتحاسب عليها. I understand that, but this is real life now. This is not studies. This is not, this is not at home where you're not supposed to, I don't know, it's not the case. No, you can do whatever you want to do. It's a huge land of experimentation for you. You launch a business. It's your business. Try to figure it out and understand. You want to go through that journey and make as many mistakes as possible to be able to come up with eventually something that's going to work. Yeah. And you started offering it to, for example, an entire country. Let's assume it's the entire country. So you offer it to Bahrain. And when you reach, for example, 70% of your target market, they're paying you money, and you're able to make that capital back, like you said, not even the capital, but you're breaking even. You're making a return, a little bit above that break-even point as well, making a return from it. Then you might want, again, the strategy can differ here. It can go multiple ways. It can go one way, which is, hey, I've proven it in Bahrain. Let me expand it to Saudi Arabia and try to prove it there. And when I'm in Saudi, I'm not going to go everywhere. I'm just going to start one place. For example, Riyadh, only Riyadh as a city, and prove it in Riyadh. If it works, let me go to Khubr. If it works, let me go to Jeddah. If it works, let me go to Mecca. Then ultimately all of Saudi. And then if it works, let me replicate it in Kuwait. And then reassess, redesign for each country, localize for each country, dialects, language, blah, 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 so on and so forth. This is one strategy. Another strategy would be like, okay, 70% of users in Bahrain. I don't want to expand outside of Bahrain. I want to focus mainly in Bahrain. So what I will do is I will just make sure that those 70% are happy, have a team run it, they're established and everything. Now it's my turn to be able to come up with another idea or another project, and I start implementing it. But this is running itself. It doesn't need your input. Maybe 2 hours of your time a week, and it's running itself. but then you add a new aspect or a new project and it just goes and increases. And again, you create one more, two more, three more, four more, and you expand the business, and the business becomes a multi-product business or a multi-service business. Third and last strategy would be doing the same first one, going to Saudi, multiple cities, Kuwait, Iraq, Mashan, khalas, my region is GCC or MENA. I'm done. I have the entire region. Let's add more products now. Let's add more services, which is what Google did, right? Initially, the search engine, they offered it best في أمريكا, صار بعدين في العالم, بعدين شوي شوي that search engine became okay, an advertising aspect. Okay, they saw YouTube, it makes sense, looks cool. They acquired YouTube. They saw and it just grew. They expanded their business into a multi-product. After they went global, after they achieved the main goal that they're trying to achieve. So these are the three steps, or the three different strategies that you can go to.